what is going on, good people? Welcome into Flock Nation Speaks, your Baltimore Ravens podcast, where we talk about the best team in NFL history. If you're a Ravens fan, of course. And man, I tell you what, instant reaction, knee-jerk reaction to the Ravens' dominant and potentially season-turning win against the Lions, 38-6 today. And I mean, it if putting it all together, and it felt like every phase, with the exception of maybe one fumble, every phase of the game looked excellent. And maybe coaching a little bit in another part too. This is the game, right? And I'm gonna repeat that because uh, I want to get that point across. If putting it all together was could be defined in one game, this would be that game, right? We've been talking about it all season long. And number one, let's be honest, the Detroit Lions are a good football team. For me, I felt like the Detroit Lions could possibly be fool's gold. I felt like the Detroit, and I'm talking early in the season, right? I'm talking early. I'm not talking right now. I'm talking 6 weeks, 7 weeks in. I'm saying early in the season, I thought they could be fool's gold simply because it's Detroit, right? It's Detroit. They always find a way to get in their own way. Success has been hard to come by for that organization for so long, and you just wonder when the tide will turn. And sometimes, and for some teams, it takes time, and it takes a glimmer of hope that eventually gets knocked out to finally turn that tide. I think the Detroit Lions have turned that tide. I think Detroit is a really good team. Defensively, we're talking about a defense that's, before this game, top 10 in the league when it comes to yards, top 10 in the league when it comes to scoring. So we're talking about a really good defense. And I think for a lot of Ravens flock, I think a lot of us felt like a really tough matchup, right? I think a lot of us felt like this one right here is going to be really tough. This one right here is going to be a dogfight. This one right here is going to be a fight to the finish, and an offense that's really efficient. Like we talk about how efficient the Ravens offense has been the last couple weeks, but throughout the season this year, the Lions offense has been efficient. They've been protecting the ball. They've been moving the ball downfield, supplementing that run game into it as well. And they've been playing really well. And then, of course, they're getting Jameson Williams back for the last couple weeks. He's kind of still on a snap count, still trying to figure his way out. But I mean, instant reactions on this game. I think first, offensively, incredible, right? Offensively, like once again, and I think like the whole point is putting everything together. This was that game. Offensively, we saw everything that we've seen over the past 6 weeks, everything that we've seen in flashes, in hopes, in glimmers, in halves, in quarters, in a couple of drives here and there. We saw in excellence today. And then on defense, I think you can say the same thing. This defense has been excellent throughout the year, but they always tend to give up that one or two big plays. They always tend to give up, that one or two big drives where they're tired, they're on the field too much. Them not being on the field definitely helped. The pass rush looked a lot better. Shout out to the little Oway sighting we got in the second half, or into the first half, just seeing guys get into the rotation and seeing guys make plays, and I think you can say that for both sides of the football. Like, I think the Ravens are extremely balanced right now. I think the Ravens have dominant potential on defense and dominant potential on offense as well, right? I think this defense is playing out of their minds. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. They're on everything. They're stopping everything. Without penalties and stuff like that, I think both of these units could be even better if they could clean up a couple of things here and there, fumbles and stuff like that too on the offensive end. But defensively, I mean, it feels like the Ravens are on everything. It feels like the Ravens are on everything, and it still feels like there's still that little sliver that could get better. There's still that little sliver before the trade deadline, maybe where you trade for another secondary piece, or maybe you trade for another pass rusher, right? There's still that, and plus you looking at this game, you don't got Marcus Williams. You're missing, hopefully, somebody that you hope is going to be a really good pass rush piece in David Ojabo, right? You hope at some point he gets fully healthy and is able to be out there for more than a couple games throughout a season. So, that's also a good thing too. And I think the Ravens have always shown that I think the preseason streak didn't show us anything. I think it showed us like, hey, like injuries are gonna happen. We still gonna be competitive. You know, we might not win all the games that we're competitive in, but we still gonna be competitive. And you know, the injuries on the defensive end, some big injuries with Marcus Williams. I think David Ojabo was also a big one. You know, of course, Tyus Bowser not being back yet. I don't think he was back in this game. At least I didn't see him. If he was, I think, you know, I think we're seeing Kyle Van Noy stepping up. We're seeing Arthur Millette step up, you know, and I think that's incredible. I think to see these guys, Jadeveon Clowney, guys who you bought in kind of at the last minute, guys who you bought in, you know, just end up getting them and hoping they could fill a role. I think the way this defense is playing, I think is excellent. I really think it is on the offensive end, because I don't want to be too long with y'all, because of course we had a recap on Tuesday, but you know, offensively, once again, this is putting it all together. This is everything we've been hoping for from this offense for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And we've seen here and there, we're like, dang, they look good on this drive, but what happened in the second half? Dang, they look good with a lead, but what happened when they got the lead? This one, they got the lead and they didn't really turn back. I think, you know, there were a couple of weird things like at the end of the half when the Lions got the intentional grounding penalty, I think it was, and Harbaugh decided to let the 10-second runoff do its thing, because at that point you at 19 seconds, I think, but they still at fourth down, right? They still fourth down. They still trying to go for it. And then on top of that, he ended up taking the timeout anyway. That was weird to me. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand. And maybe, like I said, maybe in my mind, the rules are different than I think they are, but I thought you could have kept your timeout and or took your timeout as a 10-second runoff. So instead of taking the 10-second runoff, give yourself 10 extra seconds. You get that stop on fourth down. You know, you good, right? You know, I mean, they end up getting that stop on fourth down, I don't think, because of, I think it was a penalty or something. Something went down on that one. Oh, no, they ended up getting a penalty and they ended up having a punt. So, you know, I mean, you never know. I think you give yourself every opportunity to score in this league as you can, and I feel like the Ravens kind of squandered an opportunity. I know they were up 28-0. I don't care. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't care. I don't care if you're up 28-0. Like, finish the game. You know, I don't care if you're up 28-0. Finish, right? You know, like you know, in the first half, and it felt like in the first half, honestly, we had kind of taken everything from them. And it really felt that way in the second half after the first possession. After you get that stop in the first possession on the second half, because they could have doubled up right there, right? End of the half, they could have scored, and beginning of the half, they could have scored. They back in the game. It's 14-point lead. Still a big lead to come by, but you know, it's a 14-point lead. But I think to see the Ravens continue to be aggressive in this game, that's what we've been waiting for. You know, that's what we've been waiting for. I mean, and this is the first time in a long time. We've seen it on the Tom Lincoln's offense, but I don't think we've seen it consistently. But this is the first time in a long time we've seen guys open. We've seen guys open, wide open, with space to move around. You know, we've talked about this space and the kind of, we've talked about seeing space in this scheme, right? We've seen space in this scheme before. When you watch the film, you see the space. You see that the spacing is far better than it ever was under Greg Roman. But at the same time, I think we all been sitting here saying like, you know, we've been waiting for the receivers to get open. We've been wondering if they have been getting open. The offensive line felt like they've done better. You know, they did better in this game too. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you could say that everybody played excellent in any game this season, it's going to be this one right here. Right, it's gonna be this one. And so for some reason, Lamar Jackson against the Lions is that's a matchup right there. You know, Lamar Jackson against a Jared Goff-led team, especially, Lamar Jackson gonna go off. You know, we saw it against the Rams in 2019. We saw it in this game, and even when you go back to the Lions game a couple years ago, with, you know, you had all the drops, you had all the drops in the game, and then you end up having to hit a 66-yard field goal to get the win. Like, that's another one too. Like, where you like, you know, Lamar's playing well, this team is playing well, but you know. I think overall, though, as I wrap up, overall, I mean, once again, this is excellence in all three phases, right? This is excellence in all three phases, and I don't even think coaching got in your way this time. I think that, you know, this was really good. Todd Monken was excited. Everybody was excited. The defense was flying around, and I think that's what we need for the rest of the season. We need these two units that can be so good and so good in combination. We need these two units to feed off of each other throughout the whole rest of the season. And to beat the Lions are a good team. The Lions are leading the AFC. The Lions are leading the NFC North. They got a top record in the NFC, period. Honestly, they're tied with all the top, you know, teams now, because the Niners lost last week and the Eagles lost last week. So, you know, to see the Ravens compete against a top NFC team, that's big. That's big. And I mean, I think we all, I think honestly, I think a lot of Ravens flock, and I probably even say the majority of Ravens flock feels like the Ravens can beat any team they go up against. This is another one of those games where you like the Ravens can beat any team they go up against. It's just going to depend on how fast they start, and can they put people away? And that's been the issue. And this one they slammed the door shut quickly. They slammed the door shut in a hurry. They were on and popping from the moment this game started, and I appreciate that from the Ravens today. I appreciate the fact that the Ravens, they busted the door open, and then when it's time to shut the door, they slammed it shut. They ended this game before the Lions could even really get anything going in this game. As good as their run game has been this year, right? As efficient as their passing game has been this year, you could flip that on its head and say the Ravens outlions the Lions today. The Ravens came out here with the efficient passing, 77% completion percentage for Lamar Jackson, and an efficient run game. I don't know the rushing numbers right off the top of my head, but I know there was over 100 yards. Gus had big runs. Justice Hill had big runs. Lamar had some big gains too when needed, and I think that was big. And there were a couple plays. I'll talk about them more on Tuesday, but there were a couple plays in this game. I'll mention them real quick, but we can talk more about them. They doing fake reverse shuffle passes, just things that just like, oh my good, like this offense can be really good. This offense is really good if they can come out and play a clean game. And this wasn't even entirely clean, right? They got, I think they were able to overcome their penalties. And even with the fumble, the defense made sure that the Lions didn't score off of that fumble. But such a good game, such a good game for the Ravens, and I'll be back on Tuesday to give a full recap. I just wanted to give instant reaction, knee-jerk reaction to what I thought about the Ravens win against the Lions. I think it's big. I think it's huge. I think this is one of those wins that could really be a statement win. It could really be a win where you're like, okay, the Ravens are for real. And I think if the Ravens don't bounce up the power rankings to about top 5 at this point after how they played and how they looked, I think they'll be close to it, 6-7, right? You know what I mean? I think they're right there. They're right there with the best teams in the league. And especially if they can do this consistently, it's going to be dangerous because even some of the run pass options, some of the design QB runs with pass options behind them. We've been asking for this, probably all year really, but I know last week and the week before, but like, where's these things at? Stop making it so difficult on yourself. You got the most electrifying quarterback in the league when it comes to running the ball with his legs. Everybody's going to key in on that. So as always, definitely hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'll be back on Tuesday for the full recap. Be sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on any other audio platforms as well, be sure to heart the show, like the show, whatever you do on those platforms. Definitely hope you guys enjoy. We'll see you guys on the next one. Comment what you thought of this victory as well in the comments below, wherever you may be. Definitely thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until next time.